What's up, dudes? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, we are theorizing a country called Malta. You already know the drill? Let's dissect the flag. The Maltese flag makes a lot of symbols. The red represents that it has some apparently big mountains, but not so much. And the white represents peace and glory to the Maltese nation, or an island, I guess. And it has a cross. Inside of it, it says, "For a try." And it has a symbol there. I don't know if that's real or not, but let's check this coat of arms thing. So luckily on the top there's a castle, meaning it's a monarchy, and leaves all around the steel, and it says Republica de Malta, which actually is a part of the European Union. And despite its name, that people don't really see Malta that much, and if they only see it, they'll go south to Sicily, where they would search on it. In 1565, the siege of Malta in the Castile and temple complex came from hundreds, thousands of years ago. And in the Roman, or probably I say, the Byzantine Empire conquered the island, and Romans conquered it. Basically, that is that there's a stone, and Bulgaria versus Sicily, Malta, and Christian rule, and Ottoman Empire controlled Malta, but they unsuccessfully did it a second time. And in the Kingdom of Sicily, and lots of Italian photography and paintings, but the siege of Malta happened again in 1942 by Kingdom of Italy, and probably the USA held it off, but the Allies gotten it successfully. And Monument Independence Independence of Malta and Florida, and it joined the European Union in 2004 and went to Lisbon Treaty in 2007. And the Court Justice of Living and the Administrative Divisions of Malta, which has almost like a nightmarish broken up thing if it all declared independence. And then suddenly they have their own navy, and guess what? They all border the Mediterranean Sea. But there's some few rivers out there. There's Rabat and Malta, and the capital of Venezuela, and welfare cities like Brezgara. And then the Maltese landscape is kind of cool. But yeah, it is a landscape. And in the urban town Malta, and from thousands of years ago, nature has lived in here. But Europeans landed in here, and sometimes they have some big things like there. Like the Mediterranean, or like this dolphin show. See, that's cool. I want to visit Malta. But yeah, I don't have enough time since school is opening on August 9th. So you gotta make sure you go there before it happens, viewers. And it has Hilton hotels, big sky buildings, and Malta is just a country and has 2 islands. Well, it's not just islands. It has some islands that are small and few people know about it. And yes, that is very, very much as a great place for Italian photographers and lots of photographies. But anyway, the capital and largest city is Velta, but their largest town is St. Paul's Bay, but Velta is not actual largest city. It's the capital of it. Silly goose. But anyway, there's St. Paul's Bay, which is the largest town in record in Malta. And their official language is mostly Italian, and their ethnic groups Maltese. And then 90% are Christian, 83% are Roman Catholic, and all the other religions like Islam, no religion over other religions. And their president is John Rivera, and their prime minister is Juan Radani. And sometimes it has monarch, but it's a constitutional republic. And the state of Malta was created in 1964, and their republic was created in 1974. That was early. And their GDP is $22.8 billion in PPP. And their GDP nominal is $15.1 billion. And their GNI is 28.0, as low as 15%. And their HDI is very high in 28th. Wait, that isn't right. But anyway, the GNI is very high on 15th place, and their HDI is 28th, which makes it low. And their currency is Euro, driving zone is left, and according to me, let's read the election of 1828, which is not messed up compared to last time. It was the 1820 election, and James Monroe won in the landslide. And we're going on to the next election of 1828. It's not that long, so don't complain about it. The 11th presidential election in American history took place from Friday, October 31st, hey, that's Halloween, to December 2nd, 1828. Uh-oh, we got a rematch 4 years prior. After a four-way split with no majority candidate, John Quincy Adams was handed the election in the House of Representatives. Andrew Jackson, who finished second in House vote, thought the election was shady, accusing Henry Clay of a corrupt bargain to get Adams to elect president so that Clay would be his Secretary of State. Just a few months after Jackson's defeat, the Tennessee legislature already nominated him for president, setting the stage for a rematch. There was no known candidate, so it has to be a classic two-way race. And Jackson supporters, who call themselves Democrats, were rabid. They treated Jackson like a rock star. For the next 4 years, Jackson's support grew and grew. His supporters, also called Jacksonians, won more seats in Congress in 1826 midterm elections. Meanwhile, the Jacksonians criticized John Quincy Adams for significantly everything. Their criticism peaked after Adams signed the Tariff of 1828, which increased tariff rates above 60%. Critics of calling the tariff aberrations, as it ended up hurting the economy in several southern states. Needless to say, a distinct shift developed. Southerners began largely support Jackson, and support for Adams had mostly support of northern states. President Adams was renominated after encouragement and the state legislature and President rallies. There was no caucus of nomination either. Supporters of Adams themselves called themselves National Republicans. Secretary of Treasury Richard Rusk officially ran as Adams' running mate. Wait, wasn't John Calhoun was his running mate? Well, yes he did, but he decided to be his running mate of Jackson instead of John Quincy Adams. Oh, and interesting enough, that traitor, or maybe Calhoun, just in which direction wind was blowing. Both campaigns were incredibly nasty. Mounting favorites and Andrew Jackson was certainly an easy target. I mean, he was involved with the slave trade, participated in the massacre of Indians, had murdered multiple men in duels. However, things were particularly nasty to supporters. Adams called talking trash about Jackson's wife, Rachel. Said Jackson's mom was a prostitute. People also said the serious things about Adams, saying he has surrendered to American Girl, the Russian Tsar, when he was a minister to Russia, and he had public funds by gambling devices, which he turned out to be just chess set and pool table. By 1828, pretty much all white men can vote. Nearly every state choose its electors through popular vote. Jackson supporters unrecognized grassroots campaign and took advantage and brought out in the first-time voters. Jackson supporter Martin Van Buren took the campaign and created the Democratic Party. Hey, that's the party we still have today. But anyway, he created the Democratic Party, a fitting title to democracy, was actually becoming more of a reality, and here are results. Andrew Jackson got his revenge, winning the election, becoming the 7th president of the United States. He received 178 electoral votes and won 56% of the popular vote. John Quincy Adams, with 83 electoral votes and 43.6% of the popular vote. Adams won almost the exact same states as Adams did in the election of 1800. John Calhoun was re-elected, becoming the second of 2 presidents to serve under 2 different presidents. Jackson election often signed political movement and to a degree of a vote of the common man, known as Jacksonian democracy. Historians also claim the election of 1828 marks the beginning of a second party system, as the 2 new political parties, the Democratic Party and the Whig Party, would dominate American politics for the next 26 years. Tragically, Rachel Jackson became ill and died shortly after the election. She had chest pains throughout the campaign and was deeply upset with personal attacks diverted to her and her husband. After her death, Jackson accused the Adams campaign of causing her to die. After the results of the election was announced, a large mob entered the White House, damaging lots of stuff, and while doing so, absolutely horrifying Adams and his staff, just barely escaping back the door. A large punch bowl was lure out the crowd back outside. On March 4th, 1829, and Jackson was sworn in as president, Jackson opened the White House with a public and turned crazy, huge party with more than 20,000 people showing up. This was a perfect example of how dramatically changed. John Quincy Adams, he represented the old status quo. The last and erratic designed for New Guard. This new group was represented by working class. You know, the average Joe ready to take the country back to renaissance. 57.6% of population had cast a ballot in this election. And that's it for the video. Thank you for watching this video. Hope you have an amazing day, a great day, and I'll see you next week.